Back in the book segment tonight, should the Washington pro football team banish its nickname, Redskins? Sports guy Bob Costas says yes.
Ask yourself what the equivalent would be if directed toward African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, or members of any other ethnic group. When considered that way, Redskins can't possibly honor a heritage or a noble character trait, nor can it possibly be considered a neutral term. It's an insult, a slur, no matter how benign the present-day intent.
Also, President Obama has implied he would change the name. Joining us now from Washington, sports fan Charles Krauthammer. All right. I don't think people understand the genesis of the name, though, Redskins. It came from Newfoundland, Canada. Did you know that?
Newfoundland, Canada. Yeah, that used to be a part of Britain, I believe.
Yes, and when the settlers came over, they were warring with the Indians up there who used red paint. All right, that was the ritual before they fought. So therefore, the word Redskins meant Indian fighters, and that's how it came into the lexicon.
Yeah.
So now we have a politically correct society, and I'm not saying that with any derision, although I don't think it's a healthy thing to be overly politically correct, but I'm not saying that in this case with any derision. That is going after Redskins because it sounds like it's a pigmentation discussion when it really isn't. And you say what?
I say the settlers landed in Newfoundland a very long time ago. And I don't like being lectured by sportscasters. I don't like the president instructing me on ethnic etiquette, and I don't like the chief of tribes playing a race card and implying you're a racist if you use it. But what I do believe is that the people who use the word Redskins are not intending any malice, any abuse, but I believe that words change over time. They evolve. You're talking about what the word meant 200, 300 years ago. Words change. 50 years ago, the word Negro was the most respectful word you could use for an African American. The I Have a Dream speech uses the word 15 times. It's now 50 years later, and because of a complicated history, which nobody intended, the word today implies a patronizing attitude, and you don't use it. If I asked you how many African Americans are in the Congress, you wouldn't say 45 Negroes, because you understand, regardless of your intent, the word has acquired a connotation, again, for reasons having nothing to do with you. That is a negative one, so you don't use it.
Let me raise
and that's the point I want to make about Redskins. It's got an 80-year history, but in 80 years, the meaning of the word changes.
But you don't hear an outcry from Native Americans across the board. The Oneidas, based in the Northeast, they're driving this. They don't like it. But you don't hear it. It isn't taken as a pejorative in many Native American precincts. Like, as you said, if you use the word Negro, it would be in the African American community. So I'm just wondering whether this is it's hard to defend Redskins in this politically correct time that we live. The team owner doesn't want to change the name because there's a lot of legacy built into it, and there's it's not obviously a pejorative to him. It connotes strength. The team is strong. And he doesn't want to change it. And I kind of have some sympathy for him on this one.
Look, I do too. I don't believe that this is an easy call. I happen to come out on the other side, and I respect the people who say it's got a lot of history and emotional attachment to it. But if I were to ask you how many Indian Americans or Native Americans are in the Congress, you would not say there are 2 Redskins. And the reason is, regardless of your intent, you wouldn't use the word. Let me give you one example. Because you talked about some Native Americans don't like the word, others aren't offended. When I was young, I used the word gyp as a synonym for cheat. It was only when I became an adult that I learned that gyp is short for gypsy. Now, I didn't take a poll of Roma or gypsies. I didn't ask the leader of the Roma in Hungary which way he goes. I don't care which way they go. I simply stopped using the word because I thought it's the decent thing to do.
You want to err on the side of sensitivity.
No, you don't want to deliberately associate somebody or a group with something negative like cheating, and you can use it if you can use another word.
But I don't think strength is a negative.
Why not?
I don't think strength is a negative. And by the way, if you do away with the Redskins, you got to do away with "Hail to the Redskins," the song, which I've seen you sing out there, Krauthammer. Hail to the Redskins. Don't tell me you haven't. I've seen you sing that song. That goes.
I hum it.
Okay, it can't be "Hail to the Butterflies." All right, Charles Krauthammer, everybody.
How about "Hail to the Skins"?
There you go. There's skin in the game. And next week, Dr. Krauthammer's new book, Things That Matter, will be in the marketplace.